My name's Aaron, and this is Christina, and we are from Podcast Services Australia, and today is our Tuesday tip.
We love Tuesday tips.
Today, it's about why podcasts fail.
Now, iTunes is a podcast graveyard. I can't tell you the number of times where I've been researching for a podcast on a particular topic, and I found one and got excited only to find that it died after 5 episodes or 7 episodes back in 2012. So today we're going to share with you why podcasts fail so that you can avoid these pitfalls. So what's the first one, Aaron?
Well, leading on from what you said, it's about sustainability. How much time do you have to dedicate to it? Because if you want your podcast to be successful, then you need to be able to be doing it whenever you say you're going to do it, whether that's weekly or bi-weekly. Is it going to run every week for the next 5 years? Is it going to be, like a TV series where it's 10 episodes or 20 episodes per year?
So it's about picking a format and frequency that works for you. Otherwise, it's going to die out. So, for example, we meet people who are really excited about doing a daily show. I'm going to do one every single day, or I'm going to do 3 interviews a week. And this can lead to failure and the podcast dying, pod fading, I believe is the term,
yes.
Pod fading, because it just was not a sustainable format or frequency. So that's one reason why podcasts fail.
And that leads on to one of the other reasons that podcasts fail. It's about inconsistency. Your podcast is a promise to your listener.
Yes.
Look at Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones came on every year, 10 or 20 episodes, whatever it was, and then suddenly it went away and people were up in arms.
Where's my Game of Thrones?
Yeah, and a podcast is the same. You tell your listener, I'm going to be here every week for the next 12 weeks. Or I'm going to be here every week, no matter what. I'll only take holidays off.
So the reason why podcasts might pod fade is because they promise their listener every single week, and then, they do great for 3 weeks, and then they get sick, so they miss a week. And then the next week, they go on holiday, and then they miss another week. And then they come back and they go, it just all seems a little bit too hard, and they might do 1, and then they miss another 3 weeks. And what happens is the listeners are going, hang on a second, you said you'd be here every week. And where are you? All of a sudden you go AWOL, and then you come back randomly. And that's going to make a listener tune out or just stop listening.
Well, they lose trust. There's an expectation there. So, yeah, that's a very important thing.
Yep.
Another thing is about being authentic. Now, you can start a podcast about any subject matter you want. If you know a lot about it, awesome. You're a thought leader in that space. Or it could be opinion-based, but you have to let people know what your understanding of the subject matter is. I've listened to podcasts before where people are like, I don't know anything about this subject, but we're going to learn together. Or they come on and they say, I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm going to offer my value and my insight into this subject matter.
But it's authentic.
Yeah, it's authentic. So it doesn't mean that you have to know everything about it. It doesn't mean that you have to be a 40-year veteran. You can learn along with your audience. That is authenticity.
Yeah. And the last point that we want to share about why podcasts fail is that if they're not uniquely positioned, then they're less likely to succeed. Now, there are many podcasts out there. The space is getting more and more competitive as more people start podcasts. So it's becoming more and more important that you are uniquely positioned with your podcast. If you say, I'm going to start a podcast that's success stories of business owners, there are a million podcasts that are doing that exact same thing. So you've got to make sure that yours is different, unique in some way. And this could be, your perspective. It could be the format. It could be certain segments that you put in there. It could be that you have a humorous point of view to it. A different approach.
It could purely be that you're Australian.
Yes.
I have a lot of friends who listen to real estate podcasts, for instance. 80% of the real estate podcasts they listen are from America because they're cluttering the space. So just being Australian and
having an Aussie perspective.
Podcasting about real estate. I'm not saying that there's not any of them. There are some of them, but the majority of them are American.
Yeah.
So you could focus down, for instance, on just being about your area. the western suburbs, Elwood, St Kilda and Port Melbourne.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, the value you're offering should be unique. And that's not to say that there aren't podcasts that are very similar, but it's just that slight tweak.
Yeah.
That's what's going to get you the audience.
So to make sure that you have the biggest chance of success, we recommend that you go out and you research other podcasts out there, see what they're doing well, see what they're doing not so well, and then think about how you can differentiate yourself and your podcast in a way that's going to make it stand out. So those are some reasons as to why podcasts fail. If you are thinking about starting podcasts, we hope that you can avoid them and that this has been helpful for you. We will see you next week for another Tuesday tip.